Hey you guys, welcome back. Thanks for coming back for another Plant of the Week video. We are week 4 and today is going to be the Firespike that we're talking about. Hope you guys, Bryce might have to put the captions on the bottom of the screen because I have a tendency, it looks like I'm losing my voice. So last couple videos I got my wisdom teeth pulled. This week I'm losing my voice. So bear with me. Appreciate you guys bearing through it. So the Firespike is one of my favorite plants. I'm absolutely in love with it. It's not only a favorite to me, it's a favorite to the hummingbirds. So you guys pick a spot in your garden, stick a little cluster of them. They bloom in the winter and they bloom in fall. So they're kind of in a similar blooming cycle as the Brazilian red cloaks, the other plant of the week that we did. And they really, really offer a lot of color. This is my favorite color pattern of this particular plant. We do have them, or you do get them in reds. You can get them in purples. This is the magenta. I absolutely love it. It is a little bit more rare to find in the nurseries, but I think it's definitely, definitely worth them looking for. Now, if you look online, it says it can be planted in full sun, and it absolutely can. But I'm not quite sure it meant Florida's full sun. So I have planted it years ago when I first started working with it in full sun for a client. And unfortunately, I had to replace it the year later because it just looked paled out. It just wasn't happy. So when you do plant it in full sun, plant it in an environment where it does get a little bit of filtered light from these palm trees. It gets a little bit of protection, gets a little bit of barrier on the sides, and they will do so, so well. I also commonly plant it like along a walkway or a corner of a house where it has a little bit more protection. You see how I have mine where it's protected from the Lucie on one side, and then it's got some palm tree canopy above it, and it just really obviously likes this space. So this plant can handle cold temperatures all the way into the high 20s. It will freeze back. Cut it back, make sure it's nice and mulched around it, and then by spring it'll flush back out. So it's definitely worth keeping. That AC always kicks on when I do a video. Sorry, it's my neighbor's AC there. This plant can easily be propagated as well. All you have to do is kind of pull a limb down, cut just below the node, and then clipped right here. And then you can take that clipping and you can put it right into a pot. You can actually put it into the ground below it like you do a quarter line. But you want to make sure it's nice and moist, shaded, and protected. If you put it into a good drainage or a good small pot with some good soil in it, put like 4 or 5 stems into one pot, and then within 2 months you'll have a nice root base. When I do put them in pots, because these have big leaves, what I'll do is I'll cut off the leaf, and that way, like this, and then, sorry guy, and that way it just doesn't weigh so much and doesn't put so much pressure, but it still gets some of that nutrients through that leaf. So definitely they're worth propagating. Like I mentioned, the hummingbirds, everything loves this plant. You can just see just how the nectar calls to these pollinators. So I'm a big fan of using them. They can handle filtered light. They cannot handle full shade, so they love morning sun, but by 4 o'clock it really does need to have died down or have some protection from the sun, or have some protection from these fronds. Full shade, it will grow, but you'll get very, very little blooms from them. So, but they're a fantastic plant to grow. You can keep them at 4-foot height. You can cut them back to a desired height. This is an ideal height. I've let them get all the way to 6 foot, and they do branch out and become a beautiful thick clustering of 6-foot blooms. So yeah, I put them here and just wait for the hummingbirds to come. So Firespike is definitely a great plant to work with. As far as what I use for fertilization, believe it or not, it likes palm fertilizer. So I use 8-2-12. So when I fertilize this guy, my spindle palm right next to it, I use the same fertilizer for it, and it seems to really eat it up. Of course, blooming fertilizer works just the same, but it seems to be very, very happy with palm fertilizer. So, go with what works. As far as the companion plants that I plant around it, because it is a bushy, big leaf plant, it's always the backdrop. It's always the plant that is in the rear of other plants that show off in front of it. So as you can see, I have some agaves, a false agave here. I've got some sagos here, but I definitely don't want to pair it with something that's going to compete with it too aggressively. So I've got some Sanchisia, but they're way over there because if not, they would really compete with all that heaviness that's here. So they're a perfect corner piece, perfect for a corner area, perfect for a courtyard, that type of planting. So if I miss anything, you guys, please list it in the comments down below. I'd be happy to answer any other questions on it. But it's a very cool plant to have. And, you know, we're trying to get more and more hummingbirds to come our way. So please plant them in your garden. All right. Don't forget to like and subscribe and check us out on Instagram. And I will see you in the very next video. Oh, and comment True Gardener, because you're a true gardener if you made it through the video. Thank you so much. I will see you next week. Woo!